أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين حبيبنا وحبيب إليه العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد فعلى طيبين طاهرين معصومين ولا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين ولعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum to the brothers and sisters. May inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have accepted our fasting and praying in these holy months and at these holy nights. As you see, we are getting closer and closer to the end. Brothers and sisters, truly time flies and there's not much of it. I would like to remind the brothers and sisters of the first riwayat that I read on the first night from Imam Hassan alayhi salam, where this Shahr Ramadan is a field that we are supposed to race against ourselves, race against time. And you see, from the first night that we came, it just feels like yesterday, and this time we'll go fast, all these qad nights will be gone, and truly we do not know if there will be another. We don't know. Again, I'm repeating some of the riwayat that I read the nights before. The riwayat from Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, النسيان الموت سوداء القلوب, forgetting death is a black tar on the heart. We can say the reverse, that remembering death brings light. Honestly, we don't know if this is the last Shahr Ramadan that we have, so let's use it to the best of our ability. Now, using something to the best of our ability means understanding it. And this has been what I've been trying to do every night, to understand. The Holy Quran says that those who know and do not know, are they the same? It's a question, but it's a rhetorical question. Saying, are they truly the same? Yes, of course, someone that has more taqwa, they're higher. But the same taqwa that you have, if you know something, are you the same? It's a fazila, it's something that you have, it's something that you've grown. It's extremely important to understand why we fast, why we do the things we do, the a'mal that we do. Why is it that in this month is so important for us to fast? In this month it's really important to mourn for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Otherwise it's not the time of Karbala, is it? It's not Muharram, it's not Safar. But still on the nights of Qadr, we are said do the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah. There's a reason. There's a reason. The reason being that he is Safinatun Najah. He is the ship that is supposed to board everyone. Because of what he did, the sacrifice he did, the ship is open to all. Let's not miss this opportunity, brothers and sisters. Let's jump on this enormous ship that is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Let's use him as a waliullah. Let's use him to be able to purify ourselves. Now, as we mentioned, I'm not going to do a recap of everything that we said, but as we mentioned the nights before, this is a month of change. Fasting in this month and all the different ibadat that we do in this month is supposed to change me. I'm supposed to come out of this month being a different person, not the same. How many riwayat, how many hadith do we have that if you perform a prayer, a salat, and you come out the salat the same, then that salat has been no use. Salat is supposed to change you. Ibadat is supposed to change you. Fasting is supposed to change you. We have limited time. Year after year we need to improve. There's a beautiful analogy. It's these old tales where older grandparents would read to their grandchildren. There's this thing in Iran that they have called a kursi. They put it in a room, and It's a big table that under it there's some kind of a lamp that keeps it warm, and then you put a big blanket over it and you can go under it and sleep, and it's warm while everywhere is cold. Under this table it's warm. And there's stories that grandparents would tell their grandkids. There's a famous story saying that there was a field and there was a lot of people there. And this field was full of stones, full of rocks, different types of rocks. And they said to all the people that were there, no matter how much you take, and you go to the next field, you're going to regret what you did. No matter how much you take, and if you don't take, you'll still regret. So different people thought to themselves, well, if I'm going to regret it anyway, let me not take anything. Others thought to themselves, well, if I'm going to regret anyway, might as well take a little bit just to see what it is. Let me take the rocks. Why am I going to regret it? Some people filled their pockets. They still had more space, but they filled their spot, and they went to the next field. When they went to the next field, they saw all of these rocks turned into diamonds and gold and so on and so forth. And they thought to themselves, oh, what have I lost? The one that did not take anything said, I have nothing in my hands now. I have no riches. The one that took a few thought to themselves, well, I could have filled my other pocket. I could have taken out my jacket and filled my jacket. And the one that took more than the others still thought to themselves, I still could have taken more. There's an analogy for this world. No matter how much we do, when you go to the other side, you think to yourself, why did I not do more? One of the great ulama, after passing, came to his student. And his student in his dreams asked his teacher, what do you regret now that you've gone to the other side? And he replies to the student saying, I regret that I only read Ziyarat al-Ashura once every day. Once every day. If I could go back, I would read it twice every day. Even reading once every day, they regretted it. Let's regret the other realm that we go to in a way where, yes, I've taken a lot. Maybe I could have taken more. Maybe last year I didn't use it correctly. Maybe the year before I didn't use correctly. That's gone. Let's forget about it. Let's even forget about all the other nights of Ramadan that are gone. Yesterday and the day before. Now. Today is important. Today is the night of Qadr. These nights we still have. They're not a loss. Why are they not a loss? Because I learned from them. I understood I didn't do something. Let me start now. Let me start now. The biggest mistake you could do is think that it's done. I've done so many sins, Allah is not going to even forgive me. That's the biggest shirk you can do. In the time of the Khulafa of Abbasi, it is narrated, if I'm not mistaken, it's a person that came to Imam Jawad alayhi salam, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be another of the Imams. Maybe Imam Rida alayhi salam. A person came to him and said that I know a person that passed away. And this person said that Allah will never forgive me for what I've done. He said, what did he do? He said one of the khulafa at the time called upon him and said to him, come, I want to give you a duty to do. He said, what is the duty? He said to him, take this knife. First asking him, which one do you love which one do you love more, me or yourself? And he says, of course, I'm your servant, you're the Khalifa. And he kept on asking this, what about more? He said, I respect you more and I have more love to you than I have my children. And he kept on asking until he said, I love you more than I love my own religion. And he said, now you do what I want you to do, because it was exactly this. It was going to go against Islam. That's why he wanted to hear. And this person sent him off. He said, take this dagger, go with this servant. He's going to tell you to do something. They went to a house, an old house. In the middle of the house there was a nice fountain, and there was room after room. They opened the first room door, and there was a well in this middle of this garden, this courtyard. There was a courtyard, in the middle of the courtyard there was a well. And he said to him, open the first door. He opened the first door. There was about 30 people there. He was like, who are these? He said, these are Sadat. They are Sayyid from the line of Hazrat al-Zahra alayhi salam. Your duty is to cut their heads and throw their heads in the well. And he thought to himself, well, if the Khalifa wants me to do this, I'll do this. And he did so. They opened the next door, again, 30 people there. He did the same. Next door, and the next door, and the next door. It is narrated, it was about 10 doors, 10 rooms that they opened. And he did exactly to the same. The last room, when they opened, there was an old man with a small little green hat, a Sayyid, an old man there. And he said, this is the person saying, he said, he's told me, how are you going to answer to our mother, Hazrat al-Zahra alayhi salam, on Yawm al-Qiyamah? He said, the moment he said this to me, my heart shook a bit. It hurt my heart a little bit. And I thought to myself, now that I've killed so many, there is no way that Allah will forgive me. So I grabbed this man and I did the same thing. And I threw his head in the well. Imam here says, now when we think about this, is the horrific sight of this is extreme. Imam here says that the sin of him thinking that Allah will not forgive him is worse than killing all those people. SubhanAllah. Because you're doing shirk in the rahmat of Allah. There is no limit. Of course, there's no forgiveness for him because what he's done, there is no coming back. That's given. That's not the point I want to make. The point here that Imam is trying to make is that the rahmat of Allah has no bounds. It is limitless. It is limitless. Let us not think that this night is a small night and me going to the door of Allah Azza wa Jal, asking for forgiveness, asking to change me. There shouldn't be a slightest doubt inside of your heart that Allah will forgive you. Not because I'm good, I'm the worst of the worst, but because Allah is Arhamar Rahmeen. There is no one else. I have no one else. I have no one else. Who are you going to turn to? Who are you going to turn to? We have this exactly in the ziyarat we're going to read. Dua Joshan Kabir. Who are you going to go to? Who else is there? Let's read these with the translation sometimes. Some of the verses that we're reading or the sentence we're reading, let's look at that. Abu Hamza Somali, the same thing. Who are you going to go to? Who else is there? There is no one. He is the only one. That is what Tawheed is. He is the only one. This yaqeen is the yaqeen that Amir al-Mu'mineen had. This is the same yaqeen that when Amir al-Mu'mineen says, there will, if all the curtains of the world are taken away from my eyes, not a single drop will be added to my yaqeen. Not a single drop will be added to the yaqeen that I have. In the story of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim asks Allah, and he's a prophet and ulul azm and so on and so forth, but he asked, Kayfa yuhyi mawta? How do you bring back the dead? Amir al-Mu'mineen doesn't need to ask this. For him, this is self-evident. For him, this is self-evident. Tonight being the night that he was struck with the sword, this is the Mawla that we have. This is the Imam that we have. It's a shame if I don't mention his greatest quality. This is a riwayah from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. The greatest quality from all the ones that you've heard of since you were little children growing up, the highest quality of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, is, as Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, that he is the nafs of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. He's the nafs of Rasulullah. You've all heard of the ayat, Anfusana wa anfusakum. There in the nafs, of course, Nisa'ana we know, as Zahra alayhi salam. And then obviously the children are Imam Hussein and Imam Hassan alayhi salam. But the nafs is Amir al-Mu'mineen there. This is the Mawla that we have. Remember in the nights before when I read to the brothers and sisters the hadith Mi'raj, we were supposed to answer and we gave the answer to a certain extent of why are we supposed to fast? It brings hikmat, it brings ma'rifah, it brings yaqeen. There's a reason why I mentioned it. I wanted to get to here. There's a point about this. In the hadith of Mi'raj, when Rasulullah comes back, he says to his ashab an important thing. He says, when I went to Mi'raj and Allah spoke to me, I heard it was the voice of Ali ibn Abi Talib. I thought to myself, Ya Allah, is this you speaking to me? Or is this Ali speaking to me? And there in the hadith, if you read the hadith, it says, Allah says, La kamithli shay. I don't want to make this false narrative that we think that Na'uz billah, Ali is God or anything like that. Of course not. And there exactly in the hadith it says, I am within everything in this universe, but I have not been mixed. I'm still God. I'm within everywhere. But Rasulullah, he says, Ya Ahmad. So Allah speaking to the Prophet, when I created your light, from your light I created Ali ibn Abi Talib. From that light, first creation, the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And when I did so, when I created it, when I was going to speak to you, I looked within your heart. I looked within your heart and I saw that you love no one greater than you loved Ali ibn Abi Talib. So I spoke to you in the voice of Ali so that your heart would calm down. Your heart would come to ease. Why is it uneasy? Some would ask. Of course, because it's the time of Risalat. It's a time that the Quran is being given to the Prophet. It is, if you look at the other ahadith, of course this is an immense energy or an immense thing that is happening. It has strain on the body of Rasulullah. It has strain on his body. He said, I spoke to you in the voice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is the Mawla that we have. This is the Mawla, this is the Imam that we mourn every year in the nights of Qadr. It is his sword that saved Islam. These are not my words, these are the words of Rasulullah. It is his sword that saved Islam. Every sword that he would slash, it was the zikr of Allah. Every sword. Ibadat is not only going in sajda and ruku and fasting and so on and so forth. The swinging of the sword of Ali was ibadat. He's teaching us to be like him. This is what we're meant to do. This is what we're meant to do. This is Amir al-Mu'mineen. And yet, when Amir al-Mu'mineen was martyred, when he was shaheed, there were people that asked, wait, he was martyred in the masjid? Did Ali pray? Did he pray? Can you see the political situation at the time? How much have they turned the sight and the minds of the people? This is why it's important to understand, to know, to listen. They were people that were performing prayer. These were people that were fasting. But then they asked, wait, did Ali fast? Did he pray, for example? What is the point of these ibadat without the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen? There's a beautiful poetry. I'm not going to read the poetry, but in Persian, in Farsi, where it says, taking wudu without the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is playing with water. You're playing with water. This is the importance of vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. What is it that Allah says to Rasulullah, if you do not say, your risalat will be as if you have not done your risalat, the ayah of the Quran. بَلِّغْ مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. What is it that he's told Rasulullah to say now that what? He hasn't already said. This is Hajjatul Wida, it's the last Hajj. All the ahkam has come, everything has come. Everything has already come. This is an important announcement. Now there's of course many, and I don't want to keep the time from the brothers and sisters because of course it's Laylatul Qadr and we want to do a'mal, but it's extremely important to understand the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. It's extremely important to understand things. Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he was in that state, he said, ask me before you lose me. Why is he saying ask me? Because he wants his ummah to understand that asking is important, knowledge is important, to understand things is important. Then a person comes to him, oh Ali, how many strands of hair do you have on your beard? Of course, this person is not thinking. Ask from Amir al-Mu'mineen about anything in creation. Ask him the most important thing. How am I supposed to reach Allah Azza wa Jal? Oh Ali, you help me. These are these nights that we have to ask Amir al-Mu'mineen. We ask Sahib al-Zaman, please help us. I will try to change, but you help me to change, because I cannot do it without your help. The things that we want tonight, brothers and sisters, things that we pray for in Laylatul Qadr, the most important thing that you were going to ask for is the change within you. Oh Allah, let it be that my hereafter is good. How is my hereafter going to be good? Will it be good if I don't change and I continue the same path that I have? Inshallah, we're on good path, but we can go even higher, we can do even better. We know ourselves better than anyone. Let's think. These nights, let's think, what am I lacking in? Let me pray in exactly that. What is my problem? What am I recurring making these mistakes? Purifying is the most important thing. Let me ask exactly for those. Now to Laylatul Qadr, as I promised the nights before. What is Laylatul Qadr? Let me repeat the question and then answer, and inshallah we'll go to the du'as. The question was, what is Laylatul Qadr? How is it that, for example, it's Laylatul Qadr right now, the night of the 19th, and in the same time in America, it's, for example, daytime. It's a globe. Which night are we supposed to go? Are we supposed to go to the night of, for example, Medina or Mecca? Are we supposed to go to the night of, for example, in Karbala? Are we supposed to go to the time in Jerusalem? Which night are we supposed to follow? The night that we are, the place that we are? Two narrations I want to mention. Number one, it is narrated that they used to come to Masjid-e-Nabi the last 10 nights. And a person came to Rasulullah and asked him, it's very difficult for me to come these 10 nights. Tell me the nights that I should come, because I'm far away, I'm outside of Medina. And Rasulullah told him to come on the 19th, the 21st and the 23rd. These 3 nights. That's why we have narration that's very strong. Again, we have other narrations, and we should always try to pray in all of the 10 nights, and even other nights that have been also mentioned that they're Laylatul Qadr. But these nights are very important. He asks Rasulullah, what are the nights? These are the nights. First riwayat. The second, what does it mean actually, this Laylatul Qadr? This is the second narration. But before I mention this narration, why is it that Allah has hidden this night? Why is it that He's hidden this night? There's a few things that Allah has hidden. Why? Because you work for it more. I'll give you an example. He's hidden the name of A'azam, His greatest name, within all the other names of Allah. Why? So you call upon all of them. You call upon Ya Hayyul, Ya Qayyum, Ya Quddus, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. You call upon all of them, because all of them have qualities. He has hidden His awliya amongst the people that are the highest of the maqam between other people. Why? So that you respect everyone. Because you don't know who's higher, who's lower. You don't. We don't know. You don't know who's higher, who's lower. It's narrated, one of the most famous alim in the Hawza in Tabriz. It's a city in Iran, in the in the west, in the Turkish areas. And one of these tullab that was studying in the hawza, one time he woke up in the middle of the night. Famous story, by the way. He woke up in the middle of the night. And he saw that there was a light coming from the room of the khadim, the person that was working in the school, in the madrasa. He would broom the place and he would wash the clothes and so on and so forth. He would help them out. He was the cleaner of the hawza. He said there was a light coming. I went towards the light to see what this is. I heard him speaking to someone. I could hear his voice, but I couldn't hear the person that he was speaking to. I couldn't hear it. But I could hear his voice. And he kept on saying, yes, yes sir, yes sir. He kept just saying, Chashma Allah, Chashma Allah. As in that he's taking orders. And as soon as I went forward, the light went away and I went back to sleep quickly. So I went back to my dorm room. The next day I saw him in the courtyard of the hawza, of the madrasa, the school. And I grabbed him. I said, listen, I saw you speaking. Who was that? He said, oh, nothing, nothing, nothing. He said, no, you have to tell me. If you don't tell me, I will tell everyone that I saw this. And he said, no, 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 please don't tell anyone. He said, no, you have to tell me what happened. After a few minutes of him begging him to tell him, he said, okay, I will tell you with one condition. One condition. He said, okay, I'll accept the condition. He said, the condition is until the zuhr of Jum'ah, you don't tell a single person. You can't tell a person. And you can't talk to me about it. He said, okay, fine. He said, yes, that person was Imam Zaman alayhi salam. He told me one of his main people around him, because Imam Zaman even right now has a circle around him. All of 30, 20, there's different narrations of how many there are. He said one of them have passed away. He has picked me to be in that person. Not an alim, a normal person, a khadim in the hawza. Someone that if you would have gone in there, you wouldn't have even recognized that he's a high person. Not even some of the big ulama. And I'm not trying to, of course, say anything about the ulama. Of course, many of the ulama are in highest of regards. I'm saying how Allah Azza wa Jal has hidden people amongst other people. He said, I have been picked, and it is the zuhr of Jum'ah that person passes away, and I will go and take his place. And he thought to himself, what does this person do? He said, these few days I kept on looking, what does he do during the day? I saw that he brooms the place. He doesn't have to wash the clothes of the students. But he says to them, listen, if you have studies, if you've got stuff to do, give me your clothes, I'll wash them for you. It's fine. And he starts to wash them. And he says to some of them, do you need anything to eat? I'll go buy it for you. He's helping people all the time. He said, I realized that not a single word that would come out of his mouth was to hurt another person, but the only thing that came out of his mouth was helping other people. Either this mouth was doing the dua and the supplication of Allah Azza wa Jal, or it was helping others. This is samt, this is song. This is a true human being. He said in the Zuhr of Jum'ah, I kept on looking at him, I kept on following him. I saw that in the Zuhr of Jum'ah, he was in the middle of the courtyard, and suddenly I saw he was nowhere to be seen. As I ran around the hawza, I ran from this door to another to see he's not there. He said, I smacked my own head and I said, what a person that we knew he was there. He was of awliya, but we didn't know him. We knew him, but we didn't know him. We knew him, but we didn't know him. And then he started shouting to all the other tullab, all the other students, what are you guys doing? Look, this person was this. And wherever they looked, they never saw him again. He was gone. Allah hides His awliya amongst other people. Some people that we might think or we might not think. So we have to respect everyone. Because we don't know. We truly do not know. It's narrated that Ayatollah Bahjat rahmatullah alayh, with his son, he would go to some of these, they called them supur, the people that used to clean the street in Qom. And his son, he was saying this story. He said, I was shocked that my father wouldn't really pay attention to anyone too much. He was in his own world. He was doing his ziyarat. He would read and so on and so forth. But on the Friday, he would go actually to their house. He would go to their house. He would go drink tea with them, laugh with them, talk to them. And I asked him, Dad, why are you going to their, what is special about them? And he said, these people, these are the followers of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. He's his soldiers. They're of awliya. He knew, but we don't know. Another thing that Allah hides amongst other things is the Laylatul Qadr amongst all the other nights. Hides it. Allah hides this night amongst all the other nights. Why? So you work harder. So you go to Him every night. Otherwise, if we knew the night, we'd go do everything that we want to do and then come on this night and ask for repentance. It doesn't work like that at all. Of course, it doesn't work like that. If you don't build yourself for this night, then you cannot use from this night the way that you could have. You have to get the foundations ready to plant the tree. So this is the night of Qadr. Now what is the night of Qadr? We can use a riwayat of the ayah Laylatul Qadr when it says, here Imam says, if I'm not mistaken, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, Qadru Allah wal Layla Fatima. That's the short answer to the question. Laylatul Qadr means the existence of Bibi Zahra alayhi salam. Wait, what do you mean? What does that mean? We do not understand, brothers and sisters, we do not understand the height, the immense height of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. We truly don't. In these nights, it has been said, you can check the Mafati yourself, that one of the biggest things that you can do is perform the salat of istiqasa by Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. It's a salat like two unit prayer. And after the prayer, just like morning prayer, you have to say 510 times, Ya Mawlati, Ya Fatimatu, Aqithini. But first, you have to put your forehead and then the right cheek and then again the forehead and then the left cheek and then last time the forehead for 110 times. So each one is 100. And then there's a small dua. Please do it tonight and every night of Qadr. Extremely important. Being connected to Hazrat Zahra on this night is extremely important. A person came from America that her dissertation, she came to one of the universities in Finland, and her dissertation was on the khutbah of Fadak of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Her dissertation and PhD, and now she was writing a book. She came to this conference and she said, it is interesting, in Islam, in Shiism, you only see Hazrat Zahra as a mother and a pure woman, that's it. I told her, no, that's not the case. Go read some of the books that the ulama of Shia have written about Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Hazrat Zahra is the spiritual teacher of Salman al-Farsi. If Salman al-Muhammadi, if he reached anything that he did, it was because of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Number one. Number two, Hazrat Zahra is the way that you do not go astray. She is the best way of proving the vilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Why? I'll give you a few. Number one, we don't know where she's buried. Why? Why is it that we do not know where the daughter of Rasulullah is buried? Number one. Number two, we have famous hadith in all the books that if someone does not have an imam of their time, they will die a death of jahiliyyah. They will die a death of the time before Rasulullah came. Person that worships idols. Question, does anyone doubt that Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam is a woman of heaven? There's no doubt. Any sect of Islam that you are in. No one there's a doubt. Question, who was her imam? Bismillah, who was her imam? If she is the beacon of light, if she is the way that you have to follow to reach the truth, who was her imam? Who did she follow? Was it anybody else than Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib? Let's not limit the maqam of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam is the person you go to these nights. Two people that you can go to these nights. One, of course, Hazrat al-Hujjat, because he's the imam of the time. Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Hazrat Zahra is when Allah speaks and He wants to talk about the Prophet or Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, or Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, he does mu'arrifi, he introduces them with their connection with Hazrat al-Zahra. He says, Abiha, her husband, her father, her children. She is the one in the middle. She's the core. So she's not just a spiritual person or a purity person. She is the main thing. Another riwayat, if I'm not mistaken, from Imam Baqir alayhi salam, saying, just as we Ahlul Bayt are the hujjat for you, between you and Allah, between us and Allah, the hujjat is our mother, Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Subhanallah. Of course, she's not an imam. That's not here or there. That's another thing. That's another reason why. It's nothing to diminish from the maqam that she has. Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam, her meaning is Laylatul Qadr. Qadru Allah wal Layla Fatima. So let's, inshallah, in these nights, in these only few nights that we have left, let's not forget that if you want to go to anyone in these nights, do not forget the mother of the ummah, Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam. Inshallah, we can use the best of our ability, and may inshallah these nights we be in the attention of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salam and Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Please salawat by Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.